Ever wonder what happens when a retired cop finds a rave on his ranch, complete with glittered goats, and a power-hungry HOA queen who thinks she owns his land? That's exactly the chaos I walked into one evening, and let me tell you, it was the wildest welcome to retirement I never asked for. I'm Tom, a former sheriff who swapped city sirens for the quiet of Pine Hollow Ridge, a sprawling ranch just outside a fancy gated community. My plan was simple: raise horses, sip coffee on my porch, and maybe figure out how to grill without torching the place. But peace? That went out the window when Lisa, the HOA president with a smile sharper than a switchblade, decided my land was her personal playground. It all started 2 months after I settled in. I'd bought this ranch to escape the HOA's grip, though my deed technically fell within their boundaries. The first weeks were heaven fixing the barn, naming the crows, feeling the earth under my boots. But something was off. I'd find notes in perfect cursive on my door. Your fence color violat's code 12C. Once, someone rearranged my porch chairs like a prank. I brushed it off as nosy neighbors until Lisa showed up, mid-50s, face tight as a drum, dressed like she was auditioning for a country club coup. She handed me muffins with a grin that screamed trouble and fired off questions. Do you host guests at night? Is that backfield yours or community overflow? I'd been a sheriff too long to miss her sizing up my property like a vulture circling a carcass. It's mine, I said, voice flat. And it stays that way. She laughed, a tinkling sound that set my teeth on edge, and said, The board will decide that. Then the weirdness ramped up. Lights flickered in my fields at night. Trucks rumbled near my fence. A van marked Party Pros unloaded what looked like strobe lights and porta-potties behind the HOA office. I asked around, but neighbors clammed up. One guy, a former juggler turned llama farmer, muttered about a summer gala before bolting. That weekend, I drove to town for supplies and a haircut. 4 hours later, I came back to a nightmare. My gravel road was clogged with sleek SUVs and a limo that had smashed my fence. Drones buzzed overhead, tiki torches lined my pasture, and a banner screamed, Pine Hollow Summer Gala, VIPs only. A woman in a sparkly Stetson shoved a wristband at me. I ignored her and marched through the madness. A bar was set up under my oak tree. Teens did yoga by my hay bales. A hot tub steamed where my feed trough used to be. And there, in the eye of the storm, sat Lisa on a velvet couch, sipping champagne, a sash proclaiming, Madam President, draped across her chest. Her sunglasses were so big they could have doubled as hubcaps. When she saw me, her smile flickered. Tom, darling! She cooed, like I was late to her party. Isn't this fabulous? We thought your empty land could use some life. I didn't answer. I scanned the chaos, a mechanical bull ridden by a guy in a unicorn onesie, a woman posing with a boa constrictor, a chant near my chicken coop that sounded like a cult warm-up. I reached into my pocket, flipped open my wallet, and let my old sheriff's badge catch the neon lights. Lisa's face went white as flour. This isn't empty land, I said low and steady. It's mine. You're trespassing. She blinked, stammering. I was told this was community space. We checked the lines. By who? Your book club? I shot back. The DJ faltered, music dipping. A goat in a sequin vest sprinted past, dragging a purse. Murmurs rippled through the crowd. Then a scream split the air. 3 goats, clearly stoned, charged through the party, one with chocolate smeared on its face, another humping the bull. I grabbed a kid off a beanbag before he got trampled. A goat leaped into the buffet, toppling a cake and landing in dip. Lisa shrieked as another butted her into the chocolate fountain, the splat echoing like a gunshot. I grabbed a hose, sprayed the goats and half the guests, and the party collapsed. Phones were out, filming. Someone live-streamed. Lisa's Goatpocalypse. Lisa stormed up, fudge dripping from her hair. You've ruined everything, Tom, she spat. I raised an eyebrow. Your drugged brownies did that. She hissed, chocolate on her eyelashes. You'll pay for this. But I'd seen something worse, a clipboard with a forged document, my name scrawled at the bottom, claiming I'd okayed this mess. Retirement was on hold. Next morning, my ranch was quiet, save for the chocolate fountain sputtering sadly in the field. I sipped coffee, staring at the wreckage, knowing Lisa wouldn't quit. At 9:15, her Mercedes crunched up my drive. She strutted out in a white suit, followed by a twitchy guy with a briefcase and a face like he'd forgotten how to blink. "Tom," she purred. "Let's talk." I leaned back. "You're on my land." "Spit it out." Her lawyer slid me papers thick as a brick, offering due law $5,000, fence repairs, and silence if I signed an NDA. "You threw a rave, lied about my land, and your goats ate my hose," I said. "That's not a mix-up. That's war." Lisa's smile tightened. "Don't escalate this," she warned. I handed the papers back. "I'm not for sale." I called Nate, a neighbor who lived in a fortress of antennas and old computers. He'd been an IT guy, fired for hacking his boss's smartwatch, now tinkering with security systems. When I showed him the forged document, his eyes lit up. 2 hours later, he'd cracked Lisa's HOA emails. She'd filed a fake land use permit under T. Harlan, my name misspelled, with a signature like a toddler's doodle. Worse, she'd labeled the party, HOA business, to dodge liability, meaning if someone sued over the foam pit, I'd be on the hook. This wasn't just a party. It was a setup. I dug deeper, tracking down Lisa's ex, Greg, who ran a honey farm and looked like he'd aged 10 years in her shadow. "Over tea," he sighed. "She doesn't break rules, she twists them." He handed me a flash drive of old HOA backups, saying, "She thought I was too dumb to notice." Back home, Nate found a folder labeled, "Do not archive." Emails showed Lisa plotting to rebrand my land as community property, dodging the deed office. A fake donation letter, dated before I moved in, bore my forged signature. She'd built her scheme on lies. The HOA announced an emergency vote for a revitalization plan. I knew what it meant. Lisa wanted my land for good. Her emails mentioned burying me in code violations or seizing my deed via a private eminent domain. Neighbors whispered, scared to cross her. One, Ellen, a former librarian, admitted Lisa had bullied an old couple off their tennis court and repossessed porch furniture over late fees. No one fought back until now. At 5:58 p.m., I climbed onto the community center roof, slipped through an attic vent, and crouched above the hall. Lisa, in a power suit, pitched her plan to a room of nervous residents, flashing a slideshow with my ranch marked development site. She held up the fake donation letter, claiming I'd gifted the land. I kicked the vent open, dropped to the floor, and said, "That's a lie." Gasps echoed. Lisa froze. I plugged Nate's drive into the projector, showing her emails, the forged letter, and a video of her muttering, "No one checks signatures." The room erupted. Lisa lunged for the remote. I blocked her. "This is theft," I said. The vote died. The board quit. Lisa's reign ended, her own words her undoing. She didn't go quietly, spewing excuses about misunderstandings. But the crowd turned. Ellen asked if I'd press charges. "Not yet," I said, eyeing Lisa, alone with her useless papers. Back at the ranch, the air felt clean. Lisa lawyered up, accusing me of defamation and military-grade hacking. Laughable, but smart. She wanted to play Tim. I'd already tipped the county attorney, who was digging into her finances. I rallied neighbors Ellen, Nate, and Old Man Henry, who'd fought Lisa over his garden for years. We petitioned to dissolve the HOA board, gathering signatures while Lisa's desperate newsletter ranted about rogue ranchers. Deputy Carter, my old trainee, called. They had denke of Lisa's forgery, fraud, and fund misuse. "Want to bait her?" he asked. We set up a fake mediation. Lisa arrived, pearls gleaming, spouting lies about my authoritarian spying. Carter stood, badge out. "Lisa Monroe, you're under investigation." She crumbled, shrieking about conspiracies as deputies led her out. The neighborhood healed. Henry got his garden. Nate wired free cameras. Ellen led a choir at a Rio block party. I went back to my goats, now sober, and my fences. A neighbor left a basket with cookies and a community hero ribbon, which I tied to the goat who tackled Lisa. Her house hit the market. No one cared. Justice didn't need sirens, just a badge, a flash drive, and a man who wouldn't bend.